If your finances feel stuck no matter how hard you try to improve things, first of all, understand that you are not alone. I used to feel the same way, and countless people are in the same boat. So I say all that to say, things happen. But while no one will deny that it's not frustrating, the good news is that it doesn't always have to be this way. Money problems are sometimes symptoms of deeper issues, such as unseen habits, emotional triggers, or beliefs you've carried for years. And addressing these often require more than cutting expenses or boosting your income. It also means digging into the why behind your choices and moving beyond surface solutions. And here are 3 ways to do that. First, you have to identify the one thing that's holding you back. Sometimes our money struggles can boil down to one key issue that creates a domino effect across all areas of our money. And unfortunately, in a lot of cases, until you're able to pinpoint that one thing, you might never see real change. And obviously, it's different for everyone. So for you, it might be a habit of viewing credit cards as an extension of your income, or you might have a habit of sticking your head in the sand and not confronting your finances because it feels too overwhelming. And some of these habits might not seem like a big deal on the surface, but if you look underneath it, you might realize that it's creating a lot of chaos in your life and it's preventing you from getting ahead. So from time to time, you really have to take a step back and look at your financial situation as a whole and ask yourself, what feels most out of control? For example, is there a certain behavior you regret every month, maybe like impulse shopping? Or maybe there's something that you're constantly beating yourself up about, or maybe there are habits that you are embarrassed to admit. If you're able to zero in on your specific pain point, you can then focus your energy on where it will have the most impact. So if impulse shopping is your biggest challenge, what you need to do is create a simple rule to curb the habit, like waiting 24 hours before buying anything non-essential. And it's helpful because the pause gives you time to reflect on whether this is something that you actually want and can afford. And yes, recognizing and addressing your biggest financial challenges isn't always easy because it's going to require a lot of honesty and you have to be self-aware. But in the end, it's going to be worth it. Also, in order to see the big picture, you have to start tracking every dollar. Even though many people have a general idea of where their money goes, there's still a percentage of people who will do a lot of guessing and assuming when it comes to building their budget. But unfortunately, assumptions often hide reality. Bigger expenses like rent or car payments are easy to identify and remember because you pay them every month. And with that being said, it's usually those small everyday purchases that add up and go unnoticed. So if you're not tracking every expense, there is a strong possibility that you're missing patterns that could possibly explain some of your financial challenges. Because in your mind, you might only be spending $25 a week eating out, but when you go back and look at the numbers, you might realize that you're actually spending double or triple that amount. And one thing to remember is that tracking expenses goes beyond just looking at numbers on a spreadsheet. It's also about identifying trends and behavior that tell a deeper story. So instead of tracking your expenses for just 1 month, try tracking for 2 or 3 months. And the reason why this is so crucial is because even though a single month can give you a snapshot, it might not capture the whole picture. But on the other hand, if you do it for 60 or 90 days, patterns will start to emerge, which will give you a fuller picture of where your money goes. And once you've done all of this, you can then take it a step further and look at your spending through an emotional lens. So as you look at each purchase, consider how you felt when you were spending that money. For example, were you bored, stressed, celebrating, or trying to distract yourself? Emotional spending is a huge barrier to financial progress, and some people just do not understand how strong that pull can be. But having these insights can be the first step to really identifying your triggers and understanding the why behind your spending. And using a mindful spending journal can be game changer when it comes to actually understanding where your money goes and exploring the emotions behind your purchases. And if you check my description, I've linked to one that you can download and start using today. And while we're on the subject of mindset, it also helps to unpack your money beliefs. Money isn't just about math, it's also deeply emotional. And with that being said, many of your financial habits might stem from long-held beliefs and experiences, which are often rooted in childhood. So think about the environment you grew up in and the attitudes toward money that you witnessed. For example, was money a source of stress or abundance in your household? Did your family openly discuss finances, or was it a taboo topic leading you to avoid discussing or even thinking about your own? Or maybe you grew up in a home where spending was a way to celebrate and bond, and as a result, you struggle with overspending as an adult. And along with this, it's also important to pay attention to your inner dialogue about money. So do you frequently tell yourself things like, I'm not good with money, or I'll deal with it later? Now, on the surface, these thoughts might seem small and harmless, but over time, they could possibly shape your behavior and become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because if you tell yourself that you'll always be bad with money, you might not take the steps needed to improve your situation, which reinforces the cycle. So what's the solution? Well, the truth is, reframing these beliefs will take time and practice. But even so, you can start by challenging thoughts that no longer serve you. For example, if you catch yourself thinking, I'll never save enough, you can replace this with, every small amount I save gets me closer to my goal. Likewise, journaling can be another powerful tool for unpacking your relationship with money. So honestly reflect on how you feel about saving, spending, and investing, and explore why you might feel this way. And honestly, positive affirmations and journaling might take some getting used to, but in the end, you can create a more intentional relationship with money. And from here, you can begin to challenge old beliefs and take steps towards financial growth and clarity.